Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Second Wind. Marty and Nick here, and we are honored to be joined by Eddie and Hanson, two of the devs at Pengonauts, playing StarVaders, their new game that just launched today on Steam. First off, congrats, guys, on the launch, and yeah, we're stoked to just jam through this game for a few hours because I know Nick's been really interested in this one. Nick was a fan of this one from its demo a few months ago, and so yeah, congrats on the launch and welcome.
Yes, thank you for adding another game to my addiction pile.
Yeah.
Our duty as game developers. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about, first off, Pengonauts, the team, and then tell us a little bit about StarVaders. What do we have in store for the next few hours?
You want to take that?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, Pengonauts, it's our team. We're 3 people on the team. It's me, Hanson, and our artist. We've been friends for really long, since before university. We've always done like game jams together, or projects like that. And then, so StarVaders is our first serious project together. We started doing this as like on our free time as a hobby, kind of working through the game, and made a prototype that we put on itch.io. That got a lot of attention from like content creators and also publishers, and some of the publishers reached out. Eventually, we found a really good match. We signed, and that's been that. And now we're all full time after that, and we've been working on StarVaders for the past 2-3 years now, full time. Yeah, it's been great. It's like I guess it's like what people say is the indie dream, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Going from hobby all the way to full time.
Yeah.
In a blink of an eye. Yeah.
What when you first put the game on itch, how like fully formed was the idea? Like, was it very like, can you very clearly see that early version in this final version, or did a lot change over the 3 years?
Like honestly, to me, it looks the exact same as
Yeah.
it did 3 years ago.
I guess when you're looking at it every single day, it's hard to kind of spot the differences, right?
The like little changes over time. There's a lot that changed, like animations, content. There's so much more content now. But generally, for me, this game feels like a game that really designed itself. It kind of like it had its own direction since the start, and we just kind of followed it throughout the whole way. It like we didn't have to make any significant changes throughout the development of the game. The core gameplay has remained the same since forever because it worked, and we knew it worked. It worked. Everyone liked it, and like if there's no problem with it, I don't think there's necessary to change, right?
Yeah.
So basically, the starting class, this gunner, Roxy character, her starting deck has been the same since the start of the game. What we did instead is, instead of like making changes, trying to improve it, we just added more. So the full game has so much more content that plays in this very similar way, but explores different parts of the game, the design space. Yeah. So yeah, to me the prototype was pretty much like a vertical slice that was very well formed, well like ideated already, and but it just needed more content, and that's what the full version now has.
Yeah, so what, I mean, we're seeing it right now. This looks like a little bit of like a blend of like Slay the Spire with a little bit of Into the Breach, and maybe that's just the big robos talking, but what were kind of your influences going in, and what was that, when you mentioned that you locked down that core gameplay loop, just describe a little bit of what that is to us.
Yeah, so basically in StarVaders, you play as this mech. You're defending the Earth from these alien invaders. The core gameplay, combat to combat, is these aliens will come down each turn, and you gotta stop them before they reach the bottom of the grid, usually by killing them, right? So that basic premise is very similar to Space Invaders or Galaga, classic arcade games, but we kind of like, we took that idea and put it into this deck building, turn-based, grid-based tactics mashup. Yeah, so for inspirations, obviously like Slay the Spire has been a big inspiration with the whole deck builder genre. Into the Breach has been a major inspiration as well in terms of our design philosophy. we've taken a lot of the same type of ideas that Into the Breach has been exploring. The idea of like small numbers and like small tactics, almost puzzly turns each turn, where every move matters a lot, and you don't have to do too much math. Everything's kind of like previewed, shown to you.
Yeah.
Less math, the better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things with the tactics genre can oftentimes quickly feel overwhelming if someone's not extremely well versed, hasn't been playing them forever. But it does feel like just right away this is a relatively small grid, right? This is it's not like you're looking at a giant map that you're scrolling over or anything. So just right from the get go, it feels easier to read the information than a grand scale game.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a huge focus on just visual clarity in general. And yeah, one of the major design decisions we made was just remove numbers altogether. Well, it's not like there's still numbers in the game, but like basically no HP and no damage numbers. And that made a huge difference in terms of like when you look at the grid, you don't have to look at how much HP does that one have, does that one have, does that one have. You just if it's there, it's there. If it's not there, it's not there,
Yeah.
And everything kind of being one-hit kills lets you do the spatial intuition a lot faster than having to do the math, like, 3 damage, 5 health, 10 damage, 8 health.
Yeah. Everyone's like gone through the process of playing Slay the Spire and like trying to figure out if you have lethal or not, and having to pull out a calculator. And,
Listen, there's a place for calculator games. Not every game needs to be a calculator game. We've been talking a lot about roguelikes. Just feels like that's become it's not even a genre, it's just become like a flavor that has been added to so many different genres, first person shooters and tactics games and card games, and we have something like Blueprints that just came out that is a very unique take on that. So what is it about roguelikes that you think have sort of appealed and really taken off so hard in the indie space over the last few years?
So I think there's two sides of it. There's the player appeal, and then there's also the pragmatic appeal. And the pragmatic appeal for indie studios is that you can get a lot more playtime with a lot less content with a roguelike.
Yeah.
It's just vary a few of the individual components, but you can keep the large structural elements the same. On the player side, for me personally as a player, I think one of the major appeals of roguelikes is the skill-based element and forcing you to actually learn and get good at a game, and to actually be challenged by a game, and then to feel like you're gaining mastery of a skill as you're playing. So
yeah, I thought you were gonna say for me, one of my major as a player, I like roguelikes because they're short.
yeah, I love playing these games right before I go to bed every night.
Yeah.
50-hour games, I don't know, man. I don't have time for that anymore.
It's tough, especially if you just have a small window of time to play them. I feel like a roguelike run can feel like, I can watch an episode of a TV show. As opposed to I have to strap in because I'm watching a 3.5-hour movie right now or something like that. So
yeah, I think roguelikes also just have a little bit of emergence that sometimes is missing in other games, where you never know what's going to happen because of the inherent randomness. So whereas in I guess it's a lot cooler to come up with a crazy build in a roguelike game than to go on a guide website, figure out exactly where to get each item in this massive RPG world and make your build like that, right? Sure.
Yeah, I think one of the things people love about these kinds of games is being able to break them in a really fun way of I've created a build that I don't know if this was intended, but I have broken this run, and you get that really great that power feeling, and then the next run you might completely shit the bed and fail it really quick, so that provides a nice kind of layer of unpredictability every time.
Exactly, yeah.
Snake in the Garden over in the chat, and welcome everyone in Twitch, everyone in YouTube, so many familiar faces in the Green Gang, asks, so the game came out on PC, do you have any thoughts on putting it elsewhere? This does seem like something that could work on mobile, handheld, something like Switch. Were you guys focused on just getting it out on Steam, or are you kind of looking at other platforms as well?
So the game actually runs on both mobile and Switch already, thanks to the very generous work of one of my friends who ported our game for free over his Christmas break.
Oh, wow.
Amazing. Nick,
so
you need to get in
now-
touch with them for Yahtzee.
Oh, yeah.
Yahtzee needs his game ported to Switch.
But yeah, so it's really a question of like when it makes sense, whether and when it makes sense commercially to release on Switch and mobile. But
Yeah.
we do ideally want to launch on both of those platforms.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels like I've seen a lot of success on from roguelikes on those. Because again, the nature of, you could do a 20, 30-minute run on the go is always very nice.
Yeah, I mean, it would be funny if we did well on mobile, because since the start of our development, we've been getting turned away by publishers because we look too mobile. So-
Really?
Oh, really? Oh, that's ridiculous. Yeah. That feels like, what does that even mean now? Like, it feels like that's like
Yeah, look up Elatro.
something I understand. Yeah, exactly. That feels like something that would have made sense if you said it in 2012, but saying it now, again, when games like Balatro and Slay the Spire and Into the Breach are, taking the world by storm. What games did you guys play growing up? Like, what were kind of your favorites? Not even necessarily that informed StarVaders, but just like what were the games you were super passionate about? As kids and going through school and stuff.
I'm more of a movie kid than a gamer. I
So
would
was
say.
I.
Yeah.
But for some of the formative games of my childhood, Portal. Portal has been one of my favorites for a long time. I play a lot of board games.
Oh, nice.
So just a big variety of different card games, board games, those type of things. Which I guess probably shows from the game itself.
Yeah, I was about to say, do you think the being passionate about board games influences your game design? Like, do you see a lot of crossover from board games to video games?
Yeah, definitely. That's where it's like there's a term called like legalese for card games, where it's like trying how to phrase things in the game so that everything makes sense. All the reactions, triggers. There's a lot of legalese in card games. That's where I learned it from real tabletop card games.
Yeah, it's tough because you want to get the point across in a quick, digestible manner. Because I think everyone has those horror stories of sitting down to play a complicated board game, and all of a sudden an hour goes by, and you're like, "How are we still talking about the rules? Like what? Like none of this is settling in right now."
Yeah, Eddie was actually a card game designer before he was a video game.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
At the same time, right? So.
Yeah. So, there's this card game called Arkham Horror, the card game. It's pretty popular. It's kind of like the best way to describe it. It's like Magic the Gathering, except it's cooperative instead of competitive. You're building these decks and you're working together to stop like horror, Lovecraftian horror type monsters and things. And it goes through a campaign, kind of D&D style. You're evolving your character over time, and there's like a story that's going on. I really like that game. That's really fun. So I basically started as my first big design project was a mod, basically for that game, a custom campaign that got pretty popular, and yeah, I learned a lot from designing that. That took a long time.
Yeah. He also ended up doing an official expansion for that game because the supporter or the fan expansion was so popular. So.
Yeah.
Oh, that rules. I love that.
He has an interesting list of credits.
Yeah. What about you, Hanson? What did you what kind of stuff were you into growing up?
The first thing that comes to mind is Naruto Ultimate Ninja 2, which
Hell,
is like
yeah.
completely unrelated to what we're working on now. But I just remember like my friend would come over every weekend and we'd just sit there and play Naruto Ultimate Ninja 2, and you had like the really cheesy cutscenes every time you use a super move, and that was like the most hype thing ever as a kid.
I love it. Listen, I like, now that like we're quote unquote like professional game critics or whatever the hell we are, I miss the days where I would just play it, like rent a game on a weekend and be like, this is the sickest shit ever. And like the game might not have been good, but it didn't matter because like to me when I was 10, I was like, this is all that matters in life. So yeah, I appreciate that. There's an anime influence to the games, and obviously just Mecha as a whole is anime influence. Like, did you guys watch a lot of anime growing up? And like, what was this always going to be a mech game? Like, was there ever any thought of it just having a kind of a different theme to it?
There's two parts to this question. I think the anime kind of inspiration aspect was all like Hansen and our artist. I'm not a huge anime person.
Hey, me neither. And I get yelled at all the time for it.
But yeah, but it was an aesthetic that worked really well because it was like clear, colorful. One thing we were thinking was that at the time we made the game, there were a lot of like dark fantasy was the rage everywhere.
Yeah.
Everything seemed to be dark fantasy, and we were like, I like something a bit optimistic, something colorful.
Sure. Yeah.
Sci-fi, light sci, colorful sci-fi is what we're thinking. But the other part, the mech part, that's a pretty interesting design. In the very first prototype for the game that I was testing on Tabletop Simulator, do you know what Tabletop Simulator is? It's like,
we've used it for some streams before.
It's like it's a game that simulates playing board games. So I made a prototype in Tabletop Simulator, but I drew my own cards, drew it on the board, kind of had like I got some of my friends to come to like play on the Tabletop Simulator themselves, and I did the aliens myself. And in that first version, there was no mech at all. You were it was more tower defense, like Plants vs Zombies style, and you placed towers down, and then towers would shoot up. Then I realized there was a problem with that, was that it was very often, it had like a mana issue where a lot of times you had buildings but you didn't have like attacks, and a lot of times you had attacks and you didn't have buildings. And then it occurred to me, why not just have one building on the board that's always going to be there? And then I realized that's just, you're a character.
Yeah. It's funny how it could take so long for something like that to just snap into place mentally, and you're like, oh, this is what the game always should have been. Right. Yeah.
So, well, the funny thing is, so yeah, we added the character, so now it's a mech, but one of the classes actually removes the mech and brings it back closer to how the original prototype was like, gameplay wise. So, it was still, that first prototype without the mech still ended up in the game.
Yeah, I don't know if you can tell. I played the demo a lot.
Yeah, you're doing well. You're being real sweaty right now, just focusing, which I appreciate. Yeah, I appreciate. Yeah, and then Hansen, I guess you and the artist, like, where did the overall concept for what the kind of visual look of the game and the characters and everything and the style, kind of where did that stem up from?
So that was mostly from our artist side, but I do want to say, like, whatever image you have of us like sitting down and planning out our aesthetic and the design and the look of the game, like, that doesn't exist. It's pretty much like we just, our artist sends us some stuff, we're like, okay, that's cool, and that's
sick. That's sick. Let's use it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so let's go. What are you going through right now, Nick?
I'm fighting a boss, and it's either about to go very poorly or okay, and no in between.
Yeah, have you guys been watching Nick's game? Is Nick good? Nick thinks he's good at this game.
No, I just went very well.
Seems like
that just worked very well.
He's good at the game, but I don't know if he's good at the game.
It depends if you're judging for someone who's like played the demo or a first-time player.
Okay. Nick was bragging about how much time he has in it, so
I just got a 24 combo impossible.
That was a great turn. That was huge explosions. I do have one comment on Nick's gameplay. Was that it seems like he doesn't read everything.
Oh no, I don't
no,
read.
That's Nick in, and I'm gonna be honest. That goes beyond gameplay. That's just working with Nick, getting messages to Nick, emails to Nick. Nick does not read everything. This is true.
I just go based on vibes sometimes.
It's got to be based on vibes a little bit. Yeah. I mean, that's the nature of a stream is you can't be reading too much. That's just a book at that point if you're stopping a stream to read.
It's been the hardest part of trying to teach my parents the game is getting them to read.
Boy.
Oh, what's that? Oh God, I can't. I think
I tried to teach my mom
to show my
Fallout,
parents
sure.
like Journey, and then I tried. My mom has been watching The Last of Us, and I tried to show her the game, and she like does not understand what is. She's like, "What is? You just kill people in the game?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, that's what they're doing in the show too. They're just killing a bunch of people."
This is a video game, so it's
This is the like what goes into the kind of the thought process behind obviously the you finish a level, you get your pick of 3 different boons or upgrades. That's something that's kind of at a atomic level of these roguelikes. Like what goes into the process of like what do we put into the pool? Like how do we come up with interesting upgrades that can be fun for the player but also provide a little tweak to the challenge?
It's gonna be it's complex. There's a lot of things that goes into it. The core just it's very complex. I can give some examples. Basically, one of the things we talked about in design is like top-down and bottom-up design. So top-down is more about thinking about the theme or like a concept you want to present in the game, and then going from there. While bottom-up is from mechanics first. You want to do something interesting with the mechanics, and then you think up a theme to fill that in. An example in our game would be the flamethrower. There's a card called the flamethrower, and it had to be in the game because I wanted a flamethrower in the game.
There's no better reason than flamethrowers are kind of sick as hell, so we should put it in the game.
So the flamethrower. So okay, it's like we're gonna put a flamethrower. What should it do? So that's one side of how to create cards. It's that sounds cool. What should it do? So now, so our flamethrower like fires a cone and then burns a card. Kind of things that try to make sense with the theme. And then the other way to design is mechanics first. So it's like we got all these mechanics, and I want to merge them together. I want to do something cool with it. Then how do I fit a theme to it that makes it make sense? Sometimes it doesn't make sense, but
sure.
But it plays good, so we'll leave it.
That sounds. It sounds like a lot of your like your card experience is coming in there. Like that sounds very much like how you would design like a tabletop card game.
No, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And in terms of like the card pool and like crafting everything and making sure everything fits together, it's a lot of trial and error. It's not as planned as it seems. So just kind of we go through phases of I basically like create like dozens of cards, and then we play if it works or not. Cut the bad cards, keep the good cards, create more cards, cut the bad cards, keep the good cards.
Sure.
And then
just
that's
a ton of iteration.
A lot of iteration, a lot of play testing with beta testers.
Yeah.
And eventually it just ends up good.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the.
I do want to say too, really quick, going back to Nick's playing, I would feel too bad making fun of him because in the YouTube chat, Tonda Ross, the creator of Blueprints, is here saying Nick plays so fast he must be good. Very impressive. I tank on every move, but I did just clear Apocalypse. The game rips. So there you go. You got a fan in Tonda Ross from Blueprints. Here.
Congrats, Tonda.
Tonda had a funny experience playing our game pre-launch too, where he was asking us questions about why he lost, and then told us that he skipped the tutorial.
See, I actually split the tutorial.
Listen, I'm trying to explain to people the Blueprints the same way. They're like, what the hell? I don't get this. I'm like, you're not reading it. So I guess that even the people who make the games suffer from the same thing. Yeah. You mentioned how important kind of just QA and playtesting is. Like, what is that like a? I feel like that's something that people don't. A lot of people just assume it's like you're looking for bugs. You're trying to like see if I can fall through the wall. But in a game like this, like what is QA and playtesting like really entail?
We've been building in public pretty much since our demo went up, and we've had like a constant stream of people in our Discord playing either the demo or like a private beta. So we've been getting feedback nonstop. They've been like finding bugs, criticizing our design balance, like telling us what's good and what's bad. And I think like that has been pretty crucial in shaping the like final balance and shape the game has taken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's important. We started with a kind of analytics approach. There's like this really good GDC talk by the Slate Aspire devs about how they incorporated analytics into how they balance the cards and everything. And I did like that, like win rates, pick rates. So we kind of had that too. We had win rates, pick rates. And then one thing I realized was that win rates don't matter that much. Pick rates are so much more important. It's
What are the for folks who might not know, what do those mean?
So win rate is when it's checking if you have a card, how often do you win. So it's like it's really like the raw balance of a card, if it's actually gonna help you win or not.
Okay.
Well, the pick rate is when you see the 3 cards show up, how many times do you pick it? And that I realized that for a deck builder, like for a roguelike with a bunch of things in the pool, the pick rate is so much more important to balance and kind of like understand what's going on. Because at least for me, I figured that deck builders live or die on the variety and the like diversity of every time you play. Every time you play, it's supposed to be different. But if you always pick the same things, it's not gonna work.
Right.
So, we've made great care of making sure the pick rates are really good across the board, because sometimes a card is really good but it's boring and you don't pick it, and that's like that's worse than a card that's good and that's too powerful or not powerful enough. It's
Yeah,
if
you
the best
never
way to
want
play
to
the
feel
game
like
is
it's like a
boring.
chore or an obligation to pick a card just because it's good. And you're like, well, I want something that's exciting. Like I want something that's gonna like make the run fun or challenging for some reason or risky or something. Yeah.
I've
Got the
kind of
flamethrower.
designed a lot of the game through this concept of temptation, I call it. Basically, I think a lot of roguelikes kind of try to create variety through limitation, in the sense that when you start a run, you need to adapt to what you get, right? Or else you're gonna lose. You need to be able to survive, figure out what's good or what's not at the moment, because you're only offered certain cards. Well, I kind of took a different approach. I took the approach of temptation, where it's like,
Oh, fuck.
instead of making it so the player's like, oh, what do I choose to not lose? I try to tempt the player into choosing things that they haven't tried before. So, when you play, you'll see like a card, maybe it's on sale or it's on discount, and you're like, oh wow, that's really worth it right now. Should I take it right now? I've never tried that one before, you know? Kind of getting the player to want to explore different builds and everything. That's really important to me.
Yeah, because these games, you also don't want people to just get stuck in their ways. Like, someone who goes to the same restaurant twice a week and orders the exact same thing. And it's like, well, try something else on the menu. If you like the one thing, maybe you'll like the other things.
Oh, exactly. And it's really hard to like get people to kind of learn that in the first place. Because it's like, if you win with one build, you're like, oh, this is a build that works, so I'm just going to keep doing it, right?
Yeah. There's Gelden over in the YouTube chat said, gently leveraging players out of their comfort zone is tough, but essential for them to not bore early, I think. I completely agree that, people... I think a game like Hades is really good at encouraging you to, if you're kind of stuck in your ways using this one weapon, try using this other weapon and try like having a completely different experience during your run.
I don't even know what I just did.
On next explosion.
Yeah.
We've got a pretty good bomb build going right now.
Yeah, what is this guy? What is this guy's deal? This guy with all these tentacles. Is this a boss? It's a Kraken.
It's a
Yeah,
crack.
this is the final boss of the normal run. So we have a secret boss you can get to once you play through all the difficulties, but yeah, this is the last boss of Nick's current run.
Is that what Apocalypse is? Is that what Tondo's better at, Nick, then?
Tana's better at Nick, that's for sure.
Yeah.
We have we have basically 3 main difficulties in the game. I call them main because
Why?
to finish the story and get the credits, you have to complete these 3. It's First Contact, which Nick is playing right now, Invasion, and Apocalypse.
Okay.
I consider First Contact to be the tutorial difficulty.
I like the sound of that. I like the sound of that. That's like getting your first run through Nier. It's like you're not done with the game. You got to play much more.
So yeah, the first 3 main difficulties conclude the story and like unlock the secret quest in the 3rd one, and if you complete it and then beat a really cool final boss, you get the credits.
Yeah.
Otherwise, after you beat Apocalypse, you also unlock these extra difficulties we call challenges, which conveniently are called post-apocalypse, post-apocalypse.
I like it.
And finally, an impossible, which is actually possible. It's not impossible.
I mean, it would be. I feel like it would be bad design if it was impossible. Like, why did you put this in the game?
But I mean, honestly, I'm sure someone would figure out how to beat it, even if it was impossible.
Yeah, that's one thing I wanted to say, especially when you open the game up early on to like the public with demos or with betas or anything, and
I'm gonna cut in to tell Nick that you can also use your reroll tokens to save this run if you want to.
I mean, you can also not lose here.
I didn't grab enough movement cards, so I'm getting in trouble for that.
But that was a good point. Did you try not losing? I thought he was about to win, but then it turns out there's like a little core to this guy. I don't like this at all.
Now I gotta break everything.
I think he's got it actually. I think he's got it as long as he doesn't.
and he reads a bit. But that's okay.
I'm trying to glean a lot of the things. Just this is the first time I've seen the game. What is the heat meter on the left? Heat 0005.
Yeah. So in the lot card games, you kind of have an energy system that dictates how many cards you can play. In Satisfyer, it's like basic mana, and each card costs mana, and it goes down as you play, and then once you're out, you can't play anymore. In our game, it's the inverse, it's heat. When you play a card, the heat goes up. And what's special about the heat meter is that you can actually go over the heat limit. You can play a card above your limit, and if you do so, it will burn the card, and you can't play it anymore. For example, he has a burnt card in his hand right now, the Bomb Rain. So it's kind of like a trade-off. Do you want to use more power right now, but at the cost of burning later? Nice job. That was scary.
First win,
that was pretty scary back and forth at the end.
I felt in trouble there. I will say that.
The added
that
it was the tutorial.
Yeah, and how much time do you think you've put in the game, Nick?
From the demo, only a couple hours. I had never made it past that second the globs. So
you're a primetime player.
Yeah.
Congrats. So what's this lady's deal? She's got a bunch of eyeballs. She's got more eyeballs than she should.
You'll have to play the full game to find out.
Oh my God! Timeline divergence.
Ooh.
Nick, you gotta keep going.
I am. There's different bosses during runs. I like that.
Yeah, our bosses get crazier and crazier as you get further. So
good.
The first batch is like relatively tame.
Yeah, and you'll probably have to read them at some point.
I saw that.
You don't know. I read so fast you just can't even see me read.
That's also not true. What?
Aside from Nick when he shot at the immune Kraken core and then read it and realized it was immune.
Shoot first, read later. Yeah. Fine.
That's that's the problem from playing Call of Duty for so long.
Did he unlock any?
No, it doesn't look like it.
Not yet.
He could unlock all if he wants to. But
Yeah.
I'm scared it's gonna overwhelm Nick.
It's true.
Yeah, we have an unlock all button just for people who don't like meta progression.
Oh, I like meta progression now. I will read. I'm playing the advanced one, so now I'm forced to read.
Oh yeah, now it's gonna be tough. Good luck.
I also think him winning that first run, he needs to be humbled a little bit. So I don't think him getting his ass kicked would be would be too bad of a thing.
And that was a good stream run. There was a healthy amount of tension where he almost threw
Yeah.
it.
It's just like my Souls runs.
Yeah.
Also a good stream run because I'm sure the viewers tried to backseat game as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd never let them backseat game me. They always try, and I'm like, nope, I'm not listening to you. I'll do the wrong. If they start backseating me, I will intentionally do the wrong thing.
I feel like I've seen Northern Lion do that too.
Yeah. Yeah. What the game launched today. You guys were joking earlier that it's nice to be able to do the stream just because it's like you know removing yourself from refreshing all the time. Like it is literally at the top of new and trending on Steam, which is
Nice.
like
Oh, it's
amazing.
huge.
What is that final 24 hours like before you like officially hit this? Are you still like trying to change things, or is it like, listen, this is as done as it's gonna be? You know, no art is ever like actually done. It's just we're finished with it. Kind of, yeah. What's the last day been like for you guys?
You're gonna have very different answers depending on like which of the three of us you ask.
I want to hear it. We got to hear the entire scope of this.
I may be humbled very quickly here.
Yeah, I'm looking on the run right now.
If I don't do this right.
All looking quite.
Yeah.
Yeah. You first.
Yeah. So, yeah. Like I had from like every game dev documentary or book that I've read, you know, you have the like image of crunching until launch, and that's kind of like the image I imagined. But then last week we kind of finished everything, so we're kind of just sitting around restlessly waiting for launch.
Yeah.
So yeah, it feels good to finally have that off our shoulders, and now it's like it's out in the world. There's not much we can do anymore. Just see how it gets received. So it's just it's finally out of our control. So we can just see what happens and live with however that goes.
Yeah, just knowing that you guys made a game you're super proud of, and
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. Also, I'm very happy serendipitously it released this week and not last week, because the idea of having an Oblivion fall on your game, just we're hearing some of those horror stories from other indie devs, and that sounds like it just really fucking sucks. Like,
Yeah, that's part of the fun of releasing on Steam. Is this kind of stuff happens all the time.
yeah. We've covered like the stories of like EA randomly re-released like a bunch of old games, and it just filled up all the charts on Steam one day, and no one knew that date was coming.
Yeah.
And so any indie dev who had been planning for months around this date, that just I don't know how you fix that. I guess there's I think Nick, you're working on a video about how there's really no good time to release a game. Like there's no quote unquote right time. You kind of have to just pick a date and cross your fingers and hope everything goes well.
I in the video that I'm working on, I made a note that like we literally in the past 3 weeks we've gotten 20 plus games to check out, and then since I wrote that video, as of yesterday, we got 5 more today.
And
And there's still other games we're probably missing.
Yes,
because
there's
it's just-
absolutely games we're still missing. It's insane.
We're in Oblivion aren't quick games to check out either.
No, exactly.
No,
It's
no.
not something. Yeah, you could play for a few hours, and be like, okay, I think I get the gist of this. Yeah, Eddie, what's the last 24 hours been like for you?
Yeah, pretty chill.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm the type of person that doesn't stress a lot. Even for like
Yeah,
school exams, you know, like
Yeah.
some people stress out a lot, but I just go in, do it, and leave as fast as I can.
Sure.
Right, this game's not like make or break for you guys, right?
Is it? I don't even know.
I mean, they don't want it to do bad.
Yeah. Of course.
I'm assuming. I don't want to put words in your mouth. You want the game to do well.
So we're in a really fortunate position in that we were like funded pretty well, and we were able to pay ourselves a good salary during the development. Thanks
Yeah.
to Joystick Ventures, our lovely publishers who are probably watching. But yeah, no, we had a really lucky development in that like we didn't have to take on a lot of financial risk personally. So the way we see it is, if the game does well, it's mostly a bonus.
Yeah. How much can you tell a thing like that before a game comes out?
Zero.
Like, is it like, yeah? You know, it's not like, you know how like before a movie comes out, it'll be like, oh, the Sinners is expected to make 45 million this weekend. There's really none of that, like especially on a digital game on Steam, right?
You can kind of go from the wish list. Like the wish list will probably tell you a floor, but the range from floor to ceiling using pre-launch like metrics is like at least 2 orders of magnitude difference. So
Yeah.
1 to 200% conversion rate.
Yeah. What did what kind of stuff did you guys learn throughout development and throughout like kind of marketing of how do you get people to know this game exists? You know, there's a million games on Steam. How do you get, you know, not only content creators or critics or anything like that, but just how do you get like random people who would be interested in something like this? How do you get this in front of their eyes?
You don't. It's so hard.
It's hard.
I'll
Yeah.
kinda answer that one.
Yeah.
We've tried.
Yeah, I feel like if you had the magic answer, right, you'd be millionaires because you could just give that advice to everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough out there. I think what we realized for our game is that it's pretty bad on socials. Like we put gifs and like screenshots and everything, but there's not a lot of engagement with it. Where our strongest suit is in word of mouth marketing.
Sure.
So that's why we focus a lot on our demo, Next Fest demo, playtesting, content creators, things that people can like actually play the game and know for themselves that they like it or that it's special. So yeah, that's kind of what we focus on. But I think this type of like, there's no generic advice that works for every dev. You gotta figure out, or for every game. I think every game seems different. You gotta figure out what's working for your game, what's not. Play by the ear. See what people are doing. But it's like, it's important to try things and adapt.
Yeah.
Like if something's not working, try something else, right?
Yeah.
Or because you never know, right?
What would you say? What would you say is one of your kind of the major changes you guys made throughout development, like by learning, oh, something we're doing isn't working. Let's pivot in the other direction.
And we tried TikTok for a long time, and that pretty much never led anywhere for our game.
The attention span's too short. There's too much reading. This game's got reading. TikTok is not about reading.
Yeah. I think overall, like, having our demo up pretty much through all of development was our biggest marketing tool, and like we just got a lot of coverage from influencers like Wonderbots, Retromation, Alexa, and like that was our like basically what propelled most of our initial marketing velocity. Other than that, yeah, I feel like I've talked to a friend of mine who used to work at Gearbox Publishing, and his approach to marketing was just throw a lot of stuff at the wall and see what sticks. And I think that's kind of how you gotta do it, because the algorithms are changing. The like influencers are everything now. Events have kind of died off a bit, and like just the strategy changes year on year. So
how many different cards are in this one?
400, I think. At least 400.
400 cards and relics. I think there's maybe around 300 cards.
Wow.
But what's important is not the number of cards, it's the quality, not the quantity.
There you go. I mean, 400 seems like a lot. It seems like you also have quantity. That's a lot of cards.
There's also quantity. But it's just like, to me, it seems so like superficial when people talk about like, oh, there's this many things, this many.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, open world is 500,000 kilometers big, but has nothing in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that more just gives me an idea of like how much time I'm gonna spend in this thing.
You know, I always say the same. Like when a game like Starfield was revealed, and they were like, "There's 100 planets, and they're all the size of Earth," and I'm like, "That sounds awful." Like, I will tell me there's one nice small open world that you put a lot of time into, and I will want to explore that thing.
Yeah. So one thing on like the topic of I guess like card variety, and like also thanks to the fact that we don't have any numbers in our game, like none of our cards feel like they're just like the same card with a different number, right? So that's something that I think contributes a lot to like giving the cards unique identities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We can't just do like attack, but it deals more damage, or like attack twice and the numbers of damage is different. It's gotta be, different effects, different AOE's, different abilities. So that's been like that part of the philosophy has helped us a lot in designing interesting cards. It's also so hard to balance.
Sure. Yeah.
In a normal game, it's like, oh, if a card is too strong, you can just reduce its damage by a bit. Or
Yeah.
if an enemy is too weak, just increase its HP or how much it deals. In our game, like, we gotta rework the whole thing every time there's a balance issue.
Yeah, I feel like balance is one of those things where if a game is balanced well, it's an unsung hero, and you just don't think about it or talk about it. But then if something's imbalanced, it immediately sticks out, and you're like, oh, this feels messed up for one way or another.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest changes since our earliest versions was that I think basically all of the move cards got a +1 tile range buff, because you used to just like have to use way too many move cards to move around. So
Sure.
it was a lot more restrictive.
Yeah.
And that's like something that like no one would really notice that we did, but if we didn't do it, would have been very obvious that it
Yeah.
felt- yeah.
And sorry, I've been tuning in and out of the game proper. Are there elements that carry over from run to run? Is there like a meta progression that Nick is working towards, or does every run completely start out fresh?
So we have. So I'm gonna create some terms here for the viewers.
I love it.
In our design circles, we kind of use these terms. One thing we call is vertical meta progression, horizontal meta progression, and tutorial meta progression.
Okay.
All right, definite school time.
Okay, this is great. No, we literally
Yeah.
have a show with game designers where we just teach people. So
Awesome.
yes, this is great.
Vertical meta progression is what something like Hades or Vampire Survivors has, where you get power bonuses, things that actually increase your power between run and run. So you'll have more, your character will be stronger over time, and you'll be able to go further. Yeah, horizontal meta progression is what I call things that that adds variety to the game. So usually this comes in like characters, or more cards, for example. But like when you unlock a new character, it doesn't make you stronger. It just makes it so you can choose another character to play with. But the strength level is around the same thing.
Yeah.
And then there's what I call tutorial meta progression, which is kind of a mix of the top two, except there's a very specific purpose for it, which is to gate complexity. You keep things that are very complex that you don't want to show new players yet behind unlocks. So then like when new players play the game, they have a better experience. They get shown things that are harder and harder over time, so they get a smoother like onboarding experience. Usually like the difference between that and the other like vertical or horizontal is that it's not really grindy, right? It's not meant to increase playtime. It's only really meant to help with the understanding of the game, the onboarding process. So yeah, our game has a lot of tutorial meta and a lot of horizontal meta, but no vertical meta. So there's nothing that actually makes you stronger.
Gotcha.
Everything that unlocked just adds more variety.
Yeah. So the horizontal, like you said, would be a different character that plays a little bit differently. Not necessarily stronger, but just you have to think about things differently. And then the tutorial one would be almost like folding a new ingredient into the mix. So there's now a new wrinkle in combat or in strategy.
Yeah.
So Nick hasn't unlocked the other pilots yet, but basically the way our game works is we have 3 mechs that act as like super classes, and those have each one has their own card pool, and then each mech has either 3 or 4 pilots that each add like another unique mechanic and additional cards. So it's kind of like
neat.
a class and a subclass.
Yeah.
For each mech.
Wait, why is
to
he not?
unlock-
Why is he not unlocked new stuff yet?
Because I haven't played it.
To unlock the second mech, you have to beat the game on the invasion difficulty, which unfortunately Nick wasn't able to do on the last run. And then to unlock the other pilots, so for one of them you have to upgrade a certain number of cards. So that's by selecting the upgrade option in the encounter choice. When you're in the globe scene, you'll see different types of rewards. So if you do enough upgrades, you'll get one. And another one is by burning enough cards. So burning cards, as Eddie explained, is like when you're already used up your like maximum energy, you can still play cards, but it burns them.
Yeah.
If you burn 10 cards, you'll unlock the second pilot.
And that's not over the course of a single run. That's just burning 10 cards
Yeah.
over the course of multiple runs. Okay.
So you'll get there eventually, basically.
Gotcha.
Not meant to be a challenge or anything. Usually, I've seen maybe like a lot of people get there on their first run. I think it just depends on how often you use the overheat mechanic. It's kind of
Sure.
basically-
Yeah.
It's basically there to teach you, like, by the way, you should use the overheat mechanic
Yeah.
in case you haven't done it yet. Otherwise,
And-
yeah.
And it just does a good job, you know, if you start a game and all of a sudden you have a choice, like you said, of 3 mechs and they each have 3 pilots, you're suddenly like, it's like starting an RPG and there's like 10 character classes and you're like, well, I don't really know what I want to be yet. I haven't really, you know, lived in this world long enough to know that. Whereas this, you can get your sea legs with, you know, what I assume this opening one is kind of like a relatively like player-friendly, simple one that you can, you know, get a good grasp on the mechanics, and then from there, it almost feels like it can open up a little bit, and you can start dabbling in some of the weirder ones.
Yeah, to get a lot weirder, that's for sure.
Yeah, I love that.
I'm engaged.
Because yeah. So what was that? Are you able to rewind? Is that what the purple button is?
Yeah,
You can like
you get
rewind.
three
if,
of those. 3 of those when you play.
Okay.
Yeah, we kind of have this like we called it the chrono button, but it's multi-use. So during the run, during the combat, you can rewind your turn. It's also gonna reshuffle your hand, by the way. So if you
Yeah,
have like
that actually
common
helps.
problem in card game, dead hand. So it's like you could use it to actually reset your hand, get a mulligan, and see if you have better cards.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, it's nice to have those, especially a finite number of those, so that you don't completely, you know, screw yourself over. I know when I was playing like Fire Emblem 3 Houses, having the ability to rewind, like, oh, that was just a really dumb move on my part. It shouldn't ruin the entire run just because I did one stupid thing.
Yeah. So it's mostly used because you can actually use it on other screens as well. For example, during the drafting screen, when you choose 1 out of 3 cards, you can actually
you can use
spend
there,
one.
too.
Yeah, you can spend one to get new card options as well.
Oh, I like that. Okay, so it's very like it's like a Swiss Army knife of like in
Yeah.
any scenario you can choose to redo and shuffle this thing.
Yeah, and you'll notice
Okay,
it across the game. In the shop, you can use it to reshuffle the restock the shop. And when you're choosing which battle to do, you can actually refresh the battles as well. So, yeah. Like
Oh, that's
here,
cool.
If you see some enemies that you know you'll have a tough time against, you can kind of like, oh, maybe give me something else.
Yeah.
I felt pretty smart at that boss battle. Well, I'm just gonna put it out there.
All downhill from there.
I'm on the easier difficulty now, Marty, so my smugness is coming back.
No, listen. When I stream games, I usually play. You're like scientifically 30% worse at video games when you stream them. Like just 30% of your brain is used for something else. So I get it.
I believe that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, being able to learn a game and process a conversation at the same time is not
It's impossible. Impossible. The only games I stream are games I've already played like 10 times. I just put them on easy, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do this. Obviously, it's silly to talk about what's next when you've just released the game. But do you guys already have ideas for what your next project's going to be? Like, do you want to kind of stick in something like this? Do you want to venture out into like maybe a different genre or a different aesthetic or anything?
We have ideas. We have ideas. I think, At least what I know is that it's not gonna be a card game.
Okay.
We're kind of not that we don't like card games, but we're kind of done with cards.
Sure, you've spent several years, like, knee deep in them, so I can imagine.
Pretty much, yeah. What I like to explore is very similar to what Tonda explored with Blueprints, is the idea of like mixing this roguelike / run-based format, the like short sessions, randomized procedural format with a more exploration focus, kind of like focus on discovery. I really like the idea that when you start a run, you don't just think about how do I win this, but it's more about what should I do this time, and what should I explore. Like, should I go in that direction? Should I go in this direction? Like, let the player set their own goals during the run. I feel like that's very powerful design space that hasn't been fully explored yet.
Yeah, that was some of the when I was talking to people who played Blueprints, because we were playing it for like a month or so before release. I was always telling people, like, don't feel like just because you're 5, 10, 15, 20 days into it and you haven't rolled credits that you're failing. Like, every run you're going to learn something, and if you learn something, that is something you take with you into the next one. And I do like that idea of it's less I've physically gotten something that can help me, and more I have learned something about this world that I can now view things a bit differently. And the time loop games are similar to that, something like Outer Wilds or even The Witness.
Good life philosophy in general.
Yeah, that is honestly really good. Yeah. Listen, if you didn't die today, consider it a success. You probably learned something, and you're not dead. So well done. You guys have now that I'm assuming you could take a little time off after launch. Do you guys have like a backlog of things of movies or games or TV shows that you need to go back to?
I'm running off to Japan next month.
Hell,
yeah. If we get our post-launch bugs sorted out, I'm gone. For
yeah. You guys, just don't message me unless it's something's broke. Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, I've kind of been caught up with everything I wanted to catch up on. So, yeah, we've had a pretty chill pre-release compared to most devs, I think.
Yeah.
It's been nice.
Yeah, people keep releasing these roguelike deck builders, and Marty will tell you, like, every day, I'm like, hey, Marty, there's a new one. Hey, Marty, there's a new one. 20 hours later.
Never stop. I feel like people need to stop making games for a year. Just no new stuff for a year. Just let me catch up on stuff.
I mean, I don't know if you could even catch up anymore.
I think it's impossible. Yeah.
Yeah, I forget what the number is on Steam each year now. It's like, what, 5,000-10,000?
The last time I did a video on it was obviously a lot of them are shovelware stuff, but 15,000 was last year.
Yeah, you can even see that in stuff like Steam Next Fest, which we've been covering for a few years, and at the start it felt pretty manageable, whereas now it's like, holy shit, when you see the list of games and you're like, I'm playing as much as I can, but it just never ends, and there's like so many diamonds in the rough that don't rise to the top because of XYZ, because a huge content creator didn't play it and show it off or something. So yeah, even opportunities like that can be tough to fully get your hands around.
For sure.
Blue Mage said, I need that purple button in real life. That would be helpful, right? Honestly. If 3 times a day you could just hit a button and be like, nope, we're going to redo this one. We're not.
Oh, that'd be so great. Yeah.
Wasn't there that one British movie where that's like the concept, the guy can go back in time, but he ends up abusing it and realizes that he should just live in the present instead?
Live in the present, yeah. He keeps ruining his life.
Yeah, exactly.
And the best one is Click.
I knew you were going to bring up Adam Sandler's.
yeah, I am. I like one of the things like a lot of the deck builders do is it becomes the strategy changes, but the like what you're fighting against becomes very repetitive. I like that you guys keep introducing like new enemies into the realm as you go. What's Like how often does that happen, or is that something that you want to keep secret?
You've probably seen 15% of the
Holy
enemies.
shit!
20%.
Oh, really?
Okay, well he hasn't seen all the any of the advanced ones. Does that count? Does that count?
Right. Well, second wind audience. If you don't see me for
Either-
a month, this is why.
Depending
Sorry.
on the definition, either 20 or 40%.
Yeah. I think another big source of enemy variety is that we have 3 bosses per act, but our bosses are like
counting those.
yeah, a lot. They're very different from just being like different forms of HP sponges. So
Sure.
I think our bosses are like
quick.
one of the
Something
more
interesting to them.
Yeah, to look forward to as you're going through the game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's always kind of a bummer when you get to a boss and it's just like, oh, this is the thing I've been fighting the whole time, but it just takes 3 times as long to beat it, as opposed to like, oh, this boss brings its own little kind of puzzle challenge to it that I need to solve.
I'm not liking what's happening right now.
You want a hint?
Oh, I think
You gotta give us a hint. You're not gonna be here the rest of the time, so you might as well give us a hint now.
So the cards that push, when you push 2 things together, it counts as like a collision.
Yeah.
And they both get hit.
What about the edge of the map?
Yeah, the edge of the map also counts. Like that.
Yes.
So that's not what I was thinking, but it's okay.
Push the other way.
This
think we may have
idiot.
just lost the run. That's okay. Hey, that's the process of playing a roguelike, right? You just gotta make mistakes to learn.
Oh, I mean,
Also, if the stream was just
Every
him
shell.
crushing each run, people would see it and be like, "Oh, this game seems too easy. I don't want to play this." We need to show that it's possible to win a run, but it's possible to also get your ass kicked.
difficulty is so hard in this genre because you have like so many of these hardcore like Satisfyer fans that come in and like they beat the entire game and like without ever losing, and then you have people who are completely new to deck builders and has never touched a card before, and they play and they lose the first 2 fights, and it's like you gotta somehow make the tutorial, make the difficulty strike a good balance for everyone.
Sure.
It's pretty tough.
This
Yeah,
seems
it's
like,
hard it's hard to imagine that the people are going to play your game, and one might have literally never played a game in this genre, and another might be like, this is literally all I play. Like I spend 100 hours a week playing this genre, so yeah, balancing between the two of those, I have to imagine is tough.
It seems like every mech character has their own storyline too.
Yeah, so we have like a little bit of exposition for each pilot. So every time you finish a run past Act 1, and you also don't unlock a main story beat, you're gonna get a bit of pilot backstory, which is a bit convoluted. But yeah, basically as you play, you're gonna unlock some pilot backstories, and it's just to add a little bit of flavor and personality because people really like our pilots.
Yeah.
Just from the art, yeah.
Have you noticed that people who are like following the game and playing it early, like really glommed on to the characters?
Yeah, so we had pretty early fan art, and then there was a cosplayer who really liked one of our characters.
Oh, that's
and wanted
awesome.
to do a cosplay when we were showing off at PAX, and like you could definitely see that people, even like when our characters were just like faceless husks, or like not face, like personality-less husks, people were really enjoying them. So gave
That's
them
awesome.
a little more to appreciate now.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's also like people gain like massive attachments to characters in games, so that is another way to just like find an in with an audience who's going to be super passionate and is going to kind of evangelize your game.
For sure.
Did you ever dream that would be a thing when you were designing the game, that like that there would be like an actual cosplayer so enthused about it that they'd be dressing up at a con?
We didn't have pilots in the first version of the game, right? The pilots came. We only had Roxy, right?
Yeah, Roxy was always there.
I've got carpet cleaner upstairs, and dogs really
No,
want
I
to
never
get to
thought about. I haven't really thought about the reception of the game in general. Honestly.
Sure.
I've just been focused on. It's like, for me, making this game feels like it's a game that told me what to do. Like, you have to do this, you have to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you think part of that is you kind of started with such a strong core gameplay loop, and that was like kind of the center of the universe that
Yeah.
everything else started to revolve around?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Marty, is Nick the main card game player? And
I would say so at Second Wind, yeah. Especially over the past few years, we have a couple other Jack. Jack is, folks who've gotten super into Monster Train, Slay the Spire, and whatnot. Nick is the one who's been certainly a deck builder pilled over the past
Yeah.
over the past year or two.
Every time we get like a big new game, I'm like, oh, that looks really cool, Assassin's Creed Shadows, whatever, and then number go up game, let's play that.
Yeah.
what have been some of your favorite deck builders recently, Nick?
Yeah, one I can't talk about because it's under embargo, but it's a sequel. It's a sequel to a game.
Oh,
That's Monster Train 2.
Yeah,
Monster Schmain
I
Schmoo.
yeah, I won't say what it is, but it could have those letters in it. Another one is the embargo will be up soon, but I've been playing this game called Drop Duchy. I had a demo during Steam Next Fest. So kind of an interesting timing for you guys because Drop Duchy is like Tetris meets deck builder. And so you guys are doing, you guys are doing kind of Space Invaders deck builder. So
Awesome. Yeah, a little shameless plug. We are doing a bundle with Monster Train 1 right now, and we are
that's
also
great.
going to have a launch bundle with Monster Train 2
hell yeah,
later in May. So
Listen, this is what you're here. You're here for the shameless plugs. Don't feel bad about it. This is a shame-free zone.
yeah. You guys are paying for the plugs.
Yeah.
The other one that I was singing the praises of a year or two ago, I don't even know how long ago, is Wild Frost. I don't know if you played that one.
oh yeah.
Oh, so good. This
One of my
the
favorites.
tactic feeling of this reminds me of Wild Frost a lot.
Yeah, Wild Frost is like one of the most polished in the genre.
Yeah. Love.
Have you guys like really kept like a close eye on what folks were doing in the genre over the past couple of years during development?
oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Eddie plays everything, and I try
Yeah.
to stay far away from deck builders in my free
Yeah.
time.
Hey, I don't count it as free time. I count it as work time.
It is. If you could, if you're gaining any knowledge that you could then put into the game, that's work. Which is also very dangerous because then you're like, do I have no free time? Do I have no life outside of work?
Let's see.
I played all the other deck builders, but it's not only to like study the design and everything, but also to like kind of get to know the devs, and because I feel
Sure.
like it might be underrated in the indie world, but or like maybe players don't notice, but I think it's really important for it's really important that the devs work together. It's like we're not competing, we're all working together trying to
Sure.
figure out the insanity that is Steam, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So these connections have been like super helpful. Just kind of like checking up on each other, playtesting each other's games, giving each other advice on Steam, on marketing.
Yeah, I think some folks might view it from the outside as like competitive, whereas I definitely, I've said it a bunch on shows, where it feels like one of those like a high tide raises all ships. Like,
Yeah.
if a good game comes along, it shines a light on that genre, and kind of everyone benefits from it. And like you even saying clearly, you've been communicating with Tonda beforehand, and like that's I feel like it's amazing to get feedback and sort of that camaraderie from other folks who clearly know what it is you guys are going through and what it is you guys are trying to do, because everyone's trying to make a cool game that folks really dig.
Yeah, and the reality is like, while there is some amount of competition between games, the much bigger competition is just like trying to get people to play indie games in general, because
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys know the stats, like the percent of people who actually buy indie games on Steam is a tiny portion of the total Steam user base. So
Yeah.
just like making good indie games and getting people to be more aware of the indie space is the bigger fight.
Yeah, it's
Talk. Yeah.
yeah. We like we're fortunate our audience that we've helped build and grow with over the past 5 10 years or so, we're super into indie games. We love shining spotlights on indie games, and Yahtzee and Nick have been doing that forever. But I know when I talk to, I have like just normie friends who aren't in the video game industry, but they'll buy Assassin's Creed because they saw a preview for it during like the NBA playoffs and they're excited for Grand Theft Auto and stuff. But then I have to also be like, hey, I really do think you would like this game, even though you've never heard of it, and it might not be as like visually impressive as you know, $100 million Ubisoft game, but you should give it time. Yeah, it's tough. It almost feels like it's the same thing when Parasite won Best Picture, and the director was talking about how like there's still a barrier to entry with subtitled movies, and it shouldn't be because it's just small words at the bottom of the screen, like, and it's still an incredible story.
Yeah.
So yeah, that always seems like a struggle.
Yeah, discoverability is hard. I'm sure you guys feel it too with doing any sort of media, right?
Yep. Yeah, especially when there's so many competing viewpoints and shows, and everyone's time is precious, and there's a million things people could be doing with their time or money. So trying to make something that really feels worth it, that isn't fleecing somebody, and that people feel like, oh, I've gotten something good out of this, and I want to support these people.
Yeah, we hope people feel that way once they buy the game, but people are already complaining about the price before buying it right now.
Yeah, I mean that's something we constantly struggle with too. Of it feels so antiquated to me that like games should cost X because they are X, Y, or Z. Like that's, I don't know. I don't feel like that's how art should work. I don't think you should judge something based on how it looks or how much time you put into it. Was that like was the cost thing something you guys had to talk about a lot leading up to release?
No, it took like maybe a week. Yeah, it was pretty.
I mean, I guess if it's just three of you, like you can't get into too many crazy arguments. Like ultimately,
Wait.
I love how laid back you are. Just like, it works.
We also had this discussion with our publisher, right? And,
Sure.
And also like other devs asking like around everyone's thoughts, but there's just kind of like this price of premium deck builder that's it seems like every premium deck builder is the same price, so it's been easy to stick with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What is your launch price? 20?
25 USD.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not bad.
It's on sale at launch though. I see it on Steam right now for $22.49.
With a bigger sale if you buy it in a bundle.
Yeah. How do you? I know obviously you focused on Steam right now, but have you given any, like, how do you feel in general about stuff like subscription services? You know, stuff like Game Pass. It's been interesting to hear certain devs who've had a game launch on Game Pass or on PlayStation Plus or anything, and the kind of pros and cons of that. So from an outside perspective, how do you guys feel about those?
My pulse on it is that it used to be pretty good, but recently Xbox has kind of just reduced how much they're willing to pay devs for those.
Yeah.
Unless you're a really like well-known game, it's hard to get a significant deal out of them.
Mm-hmm.
But it kind of makes sense if they offer something that's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they were in the phase a couple years ago where they were throwing money at it to try to make Game Pass grow, and they realized that it wasn't growing anymore, so they're not giving as much money out.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, it's similar to like in the entertainment industry, like what like early Netflix was like, where they would just write blank checks to creators and it was just incredible. And then all of a sudden it was, okay, now we have to actually be accountable for our growth and everything. So where's the best profit margins? It's in reality TV slop.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's still like, I think Game Pass is still an undeniably good thing for people who play games. Like, it's something I still recommend. Just even in the past couple months, you could have gotten games like Blueprints and Clair Obscur and Doom's coming out, and South of Midnight, and Citizen Sleeper was on there earlier this year. So
I think they still have Diablo 4 too. So
yeah, exactly, and they're gonna have the new Call of Duty, and like it has kind of something for everyone. But yeah, I do find myself, if I like play an indie game that I really like on Game Pass, I do generally end up buying it somewhere else just I'll be like, oh, I'll buy it on Switch. Just sort of as a like, this was great. I don't know, I guess almost as a tip jar kind of thing. Like, even if I'm not gonna play it on Switch.
Shout out to Double Fine for anyone who has Game Pass and hasn't played Psychonauts 2. You should
God,
play
it's so
Psychonauts.
good.
So good.
Legitimately one of my favorite games.
Yeah. Like so much creativity went into
Yeah.
that project.
This is new. Now you have holes on the map.
Yep.
Wait, you'll be fine. We believe in you.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure.
You don't believe him? I'm gonna be honest. I that was a lie. When I said we believe in you, that was mostly just trying to comfort him. I do not think he's gonna make it out of this map alive.
No, you.
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah. What tips from if you were like a coach right now and Nick was at halftime of a game? Like, what would you tell him? Like, what do we need to work on from the first half of the game? What is Nick doing or not doing that you think are bad habits?
I think the biggest thing is suboptimal bomb usage, where he sometimes,
suboptimal bomb usage. Insult me.
For me, I think it's taking account the whole board, kind of like you know, like in Go, in the board game Go, you kind of have to like distance yourself a bit and then see the whole the big picture.
Yeah.
And then kind of like read the enemies.
Yeah, it could be
what kind of just caused him to run right here.
Yeah,
But-
no,
Yep.
it could be tough because you're looking at, you know, there's things right in front of you, and you're just worried about those, and then you got blinders to what's going on behind them, and it's like, well, even if you clear these guys in front of you, you got to worry about them behind.
But-
Which is why you've been doing suboptimal bomb usage. We all keep saying it, Nick, and you're just not listening to us.
I'll have you know, I'm very
Like
good at board
like
games. I played Catan once, and I really, really did bad.
I was about to say, I can't imagine you being good at board games.
No,
I can't
I'm
even
not.
imagine you playing a board game.
It's like any other roguelike though. You gotta die to the spikes in Splunky 100 times before you can make it past the first level.
I got a new pilot though.
Mysterious girl with white hair. I like it. Put her in the mech. Shinji, get in the mech.
It's a future Game of Thrones girl.
Who's
Perhaps.
future?
Daenerys.
Oh, a Targaryen. I got
Yeah.
what's going on. I remember that show.
Yeah,
How
you
does
can-
Noelle? How is she different from the first character? What's her deal?
She's a cool-headed scholar and obsessed with hot chocolate.
Same.
Yeah, so if you click her deck there, you can check out her starting cards, and so her gimmick is that she can freeze a card with her artifact each turn, and that card stays in her hand, and it also unburns when it freezes.
Oh, that's cool.
She's got a pretty wacky fire card to start with, and it's called a flurry fire, and basically when you play any card that has fire in its title, all the other flurry cards also play from your hand automatically for free.
Oh, that's what you were talking about when you were saying like we want cards that are like things that are interesting. Like that's way more interesting than just it does a little more damage. Like that's something that changes how you look at the board and how you react to everything.
So then suddenly it's like Noelle's pretty good at clearing a column if she has the right hand for it, but she's pretty bad if there's multiple columns that are in trouble. You might accidentally use up all your fire cards.
Yeah.
So,
What's the deal with these clouds?
Oh yeah. It's another special encounter. Like you can see he's playing the flurry and it's all firing at the same time for free.
Yeah.
Very powerful. The clouds are you basically just block one hit, so they're kind of an extra shield. He picked this combat, which is like a harder combat, but you get a better reward out of it.
Yeah.
It's the greed, if you want to try to greed for it. So the clouds add the difficulty
They
for
moved
this one.
through it. Cheated.
Suboptimal bomb usage, Nick.
Well, I thought it was optimal. I threw it right into the bomb and it said,
There's like a slight nuance in the phrasing between
Yeah.
move an entity and like push an entity. That's a little gotcha for the first time you learn about it.
But if you do read everything, it's all explained.
I think I know Nick's main problem. I don't want to say it. It might be he doesn't know how to read. But just might be that.
All good though.
Listen, with
I also
with
like
the
this new
current
character.
government we have. We don't need to read.
We don't need to read. We're in a post-reading society. That's true. I do like this character. I like the anime trope of a character who's got a collar that covers the bottom half of their face. I am a big fan of that.
Our artist did a really good job, like drawing cool characters, and
Yeah.
we did an even better job with the. So we did like we have a supporter pack DLC, which is just like a way for people to show us some love if they like the game. We drew basically 3 custom skins for each of the starter pilots, and
Oh, they rules.
Those are really nice.
Yeah.
Those are like the real anime ones where he went all out and made them like
Yeah.
as over the top as he could.
That's another thing I like doing is if I buy a game and I really like it, I will oftentimes just buy DLC, even if I don't intend on using it, as a sort of like, I feel like I got more than my money's worth for this game. I will gladly buy this thing, even if it's like just a soundtrack or something I'm not going to listen to. But I do like the idea of different skins. I always buy the DLC for Persona, and I'm like, I want to see what they look like.
That's
in
a
different costumes.
that's a really
Marty.
that's a really funny way of saying you have a problem.
That's not a problem. That's supporting. That's like tipping a bartender.
Uh-huh.
I like your service, so you get $2 for this drink instead of $1.
Single-handedly saving the industry.
Exactly. There was just an indie game just came out a few weeks ago called ENA Dream BBQ, and it was it's like it's sort of a modern take on this weird PS1 game from back in the day called LSD Dream Simulator, and it's like a first-person narrative walking simulator through this really bizarre experimental dreamscape. And the game released for free, but then there's like a $10, pretty much like, hey, if you dug that, here's a bunch of concept art and the soundtrack and everything. And I had such a good time in the free version that I'm like, hell yeah, I'll give you $10 for this. Like, this is absolutely, yeah.
It's a very interesting model.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd be curious to hear if
Yeah.
after release they think that did well, but yeah.
And it reminds me of Landfall's way of like giving out a game for free just to get that virality and then start selling it.
Yeah, which you saw, what was that, with Content Warning last year?
Yeah.
They do it every
Yeah.
year.
Well, Haste wasn't free, was it?
Oh
this year?
yeah, no, it wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fascinating, like, they're an incredibly interesting indie studio. Just how different their games are, but how they kind of do manage to tap in that virality every year. Who are some of the, like, are there certain indie teams or just games that you're looking at of, like, that are inspirational just in terms of, like, oh, you guys are really doing this right, whether it's in your messaging, whether it's in, you know, how you're pricing things, how you're delivering things? Like, are there any teams that you look to as sources of inspiration?
I personally think Supergiant runs their studio really well. I think they have like kind of the dream indie studio where there are like most of the core team are people who've known each other for a long time. They're each like incredibly talented in their own respect. They didn't unnecessarily scale their team despite like how much success they had. So they still have like a very manageable team size. Like they keep to production. They don't seem like they're crunching. Like I think Supergiant is just like the model for a good indie studio. Obviously, having a big hit helps a lot. But...
Sure. Yeah, which is funny because I've been a fan of them since you know, Bastion, since day one, and it was interesting how, like, I love Bastion and Transistor, and I think Pyre is like one of the most underrated games of the last decade or so. But then with Hades, it was like, oh, you have blown up. Like, you are almost like, we don't know how to, like, we were talking about this on a podcast earlier this week of like, what do we call? You could call anything indie, but it almost seems like there's gradients of indie. Like, they seem like they're like AAA indie. You know, the same thing with like the I guess the pressure or attention that's on like a Silk Song from Team Cherry feels like it's at a much different level than something like StarVaders. And so seeing their success with Hades, and then, you know, the kind of the pressure that's on for Hades too has been pretty fascinating. But I love that they're so open too. Like, they have so many internal and external documentaries about the process, and they're very honest about what goes well and what doesn't go well. And like you said, it doesn't seem like they crunch, which is great. More people should be like you guys, where you're like, no, like, we weren't killing ourselves over the last few weeks because we knew what the game was. We finished it, and
To be
the
fair,
rest
we're
is
all
out of our
pretty
hands.
In a very privileged position in that like we weren't under pressure to crunch, so
Yeah, and it wasn't like something like I'd mortgaged my house. Like I need this game out there so that I could pay the bills.
yeah. So yeah, we recognize that we got pretty lucky, so
Yeah.
I'm grateful for that.
Denise over in YouTube says, I already played like 10 hours of the demo on Steam. It is very good, and I can't wait for the full release. You don't have to wait for the full release because it's out now.
Now.
I just wanna,
It is out now on Steam.
I just want to mention to Nick that was optimal bomb usage.
Yes.
That was
Congrats! Look at this. This is like character growth. This is like a character arc over 2 hours.
Yeah, we got the training arc in this.
Yeah, exactly.
This is why I like roguelike, because you just keep learning as you play. Where like Assassin's Creed, you stab one dude, you stab them all the other same way.
Killed one guy, you killed them all.
This guy's
much.
got armor. That's different.
Yeah. I like my so I let my dogs out so that they would stop being annoying. So instead they're sitting at the door where I had to spray a bunch of ant killer, which it's clear now, like they're safe. But now they're just playing in a pile of dead ants, and that's fun.
Seems like something dogs like to do.
Yeah.
Seems great. What could possibly go wrong? I'm also a big fan. This is the first time I've actually looked at Min. Big fan of Min.
Yeah, she's
Seems
always
like a
asking
little
for
weirdo.
money.
She seems great.
Yeah.
She wants a tip jar for nothing.
Well, spoiler, but Min's gonna come back in one of our updates. In,
Oh hell yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess what?
This is the first time we ever mentioned that.
Are you guys planning like post-release content? You don't have to go super deep into it, but are you guys planning sort of post-release stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not gonna ask any more questions. I don't want anyone to get in trouble. I'm not here to get anyone in trouble except for Nick.
Yeah, and Jerry's in the Discord chat like, shut up.
We do have plans. We do have plans. Nothing confirmed yet, no dates or anything,
Sure.
but plans. We have concepts of a plan. Yeah.
You have concepts of a plan.
More than that. We have
Yeah,
like
sure,
more than
sure. Yeah. I can almost like hear the like sniper dot coming out and being like, I can't say anymore. I can't say anymore.
Nick, any thoughts as you've been playing? I know you've been really focused.
Yeah, I mean, I love the Steam Mechs Fest demo, and this is the exact type of game I'm really into right now, and just everything feels like you guys did a really good job with the art design and the sound design. Everything feels nice and crunchy, and of course, I know Marty can't hear the music, but I know he'd be a fan of it. Very
yeah.
laid back.
I don't know. Is music playing on the stream?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, music's playing on the stream. Yeah, it's just when the way that he streams when he's sharing the video. It's just.
I just want to shout out our composer Plasterbrain, who did an incredible job with our soundtrack, and
Hell yeah.
pretty much just like gave her a very vague vibe guide, and then she just went off and produced like some of the best tracks we could have asked for.
I love it. That's always so great to hear. Whether it's visual art or audio, of being like they got the vibes, they understood the assignment, and came back with like something we couldn't even dream of.
Exactly.
I also feel like sound design is like an unsung hero of a lot of these roguelikes, because like you're going to be playing them over and over, and yeah, some people might play them and just second screen them, and have something going on in the background, a podcast or a TV show or something, but kind of creating that chill atmosphere that you want to spend a half an hour in, and then another run and another run, I think is pretty important.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like soundtrack is more noticeable, but sound design is like very subtle and only noticeable when it's bad. for
Yep.
most
Yeah.
people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, these
There's a lot of things that people only notice when it's bad.
Yeah, which sucks. Like, but that's
Yeah, and sometimes it's like it's not vocalized the same way. It's like if the sound is bad, people might not say the sound is bad. They might say the game feels bad, and they don't know
Yeah.
why it's bad, right? So,
Yeah, I think games are just as a medium are so young and so complicated that like we don't like everyone doesn't have like the words and vocabulary needed to like properly critique them. I mean, myself included. Like, I don't have a sound background. Like, I don't know how to make music or anything. I don't have a music background, but like, it can be tough to explain why a soundtrack in one game really resonates with me and why a soundtrack in another game feels out of place.
Yeah, for sure.
My bomb usage that round optimal.
Looked pretty good.
You could tell that really got to him. You could tell. that was criticism that got to him.
You picked up a really good upgrade for Noel in the flash fire artifact
Yeah.
that you just grabbed. So it repeats all of your fire cards. So
Yeah.
that also works when you're chaining together your flurry fire. So all of them get repeated.
Oh hell yeah! That seems like we got the makings of one of those like let's break this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Let's break this run.
I think it's a bit overkill, but I mean, you're really
have
strong
never
in one
enough.
column, but like you can't do sideways, so you might just lose. You know what I mean? We'll see.
Shit, they're getting close to the bottom now. I'm getting a little worried.
If I don't do
Do
this,
you lose if they get to the bottom? Like, is this like?
Basically, you see that the +1 with the skull. Basically, they give when they're in the bottom 3 rows, they give you 1 turn to kill them, and if you
okay.
don't kill them, they'll add doom. And if you see in the top
That's
left
what
corner
Doom
at the
is.
top, yeah.
I'm gonna be
like,
honest. I had
reverse.
no idea what Doom was the whole time, and I meant to ask like an hour ago, and then I forgot.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
essentially your health bar.
Gotcha. Yeah, but it's easy to read the 1 through, like you guys said at the beginning, it's easy to read and comprehend the 1 through 5 as opposed to, oh, you have 1200 HP and this one took out, 150 HP. Like, I feel like you've streamlined the concept of health, which is nice.
Yeah.
Joe B.
Like, yeah, one of the, it's like, I had this idea of, we're trying to do something similar to Slay the Spire, but we're replacing health. Yeah, we're replacing health and math with space. So it's like instead of something having a big number, you see a lot of things on the grid. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like a big
yeah.
swarm, a big like crowd of enemies that you have to destroy. I
Sure,
kind of
sure.
feel like it's very like it feels very cool to destroy like a huge swarm of things at a time instead of just
Yeah,
like one enemy
yeah.
with a big health bar.
I mean,
Yeah.
it does feed into that Space Invaders feel to
Yeah.
it, where it is like a giant swarm that's invading your colony or your planet. Also, Joe B with the $2 dono. Thank you so much, Joe B.
Don't read that one.
Op Bomb Nick. New legal name. I'm sorry, you got to change it.
Yeah, that bomb actually is pretty solid on this turn.
He's learning.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those orchids are actually a big first time player killer because if you don't read them, they will just end your run.
I did read it.
Wait, what's their deal?
So if you don't kill them in time, they'll just start channeling doom from wherever they are, so they don't have to get to the bottom. So
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so unless you read them, you won't know that until they start doing it.
Well,
Nick, did you actually read that?
I did
or
read it.
Did you lie? Okay.
there is a tutorial tip that shows up the first time they show up
Sure.
because of that.
That's reading. We know that's reading.
That's
and
reading.
That's
That's
tough.
reading.
A lot to ask for.
Yeah.
Got like with the artifacts, I've got like machine gun fire cards now.
Okay, now you're getting somewhere. Okay, so he just picked up my little friend.
Yeah.
Okay, he just picked up Say Hello, whose ability is to spawn my little friend, and it spawns this little turret on the board, and which creates like whenever you play a fire card, the little friend also plays that card basically. So
I love it.
that's gonna help a lot with his very focused single column like fire. He's gonna be able to do 2 columns now.
He's trying really hard to not call me stupid.
He's saying you have a very specific strategy.
Yeah.
A bold strategy. We'll see if it pays off.
Okay, well,
It worked, didn't it?
Well, that wasn't good. I mean, they gave you 4 out of 5 Doom, which isn't a great
oh
place
shit!
to be.
Where did I miss that number?
Those were the flowers, the orchids.
Oh.
You and I know this. I don't even know what's going on, and I know that.
I was very focused on one line.
I am an idiot when it comes to this genre, and even I learned that.
I was really just I was really side-eyeing Joe B in the chat.
Nick's just really good at playing for the stream. He knows what gets people engaged.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, they love when I play bad.
we gotta do one of those.
When I never played. Oh, this is a new boss.
Oh,
Nessie.
look at this thing.
Attacks every other turn. Apples eaten by it will generate doom. Those don't look like apples.
Don't let it eat the apples. Get these apples out of here.
I'll make sure to focus on more than one tile at a time.
Good bomb placement. It's good bomb placement right there.
That was optimal. That was optimal.
Yeah, make it over there. I didn't need to do
This
that.
boss is like snake, apples.
Yeah, this is inspired by like old school Snake.
I like it. Yeah, Garden of Eden.
Sorry, what? Garden of Eden? Not sure.
Was that not where you're going? Old school snakes, like a snake and an apple in the Garden of
Snake
Eden.
game where you.
Oh, literally the game Snake. I went too old school. I went biblical. I should have went to like 80s old school. I was too old school.
The original old school.
Yeah, yeah. Not like Snake on my fat Nokia cell phone. Yeah. So are there no traditional enemies in this? This is just the boss in this.
Not on this difficulty. Yeah, on this difficulty, it's just the boss and the apples.
I've honestly never seen this boss on this difficulty.
Me neither.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Can you hit a button and put some more enemies here?
No, it just seems easy to me.
So this is a boss that you unlocked like through meta progression. So we've only ever seen it on the higher difficulties because when we play, we just.
No, I usually don't play it.
Yeah.
I guess it's good to teach players about this. Yeah.
Yeah. It's also good to like learn what a boss is all about and then throw in the other things. Like, yeah.
So what you're saying is I'm so good that the boss showed up for me.
Exactly.
You're so good, you're making it look easy.
Yeah. I've learned not to brag during these streams though, because we did a sponsored stream a few months ago of this game called Athena Crisis, which is very much like a Advance Wars kind of game.
Yeah.
And I was doing pretty well, and I was kind of bragging. But there is a thing in the game where you can get invaded by other armies, like almost a la like a Souls game, and the developer just started invading me when I was bragging, and I was like, "Oh my god, what is happening? Why are there so many enemies here?" So I've learned to never play my hand.
Yeah.
Who are these little worms?
I feel like that feature was added in the game specifically for that use case.
It was 100% to troll streamers, yeah, which is great.
Little worms.
Worms.
Get out of here.
Tonda's back saying, "Yeah, no worms." Nick will be able to handle the worms. Don't worry. I'm gonna be honest, Nick. He's extremely this snake is extremely close to you.
It's fine.
He's got it. He's got it. Oh, it's lagging. That's something I need to fix. Ignore that.
I thought I just destroyed him so hard the game broke.
Yeah. It's like that moment in anime where like a character gets cut in half and then nothing happens, and then after a few seconds the body just slides
it's
off.
intentional.
So.
Yeah.
It's done.
Listen, you could have fooled me.
Oh my. I've got a pretty nasty build going here.
See, this is where you fly too close to the sun. These are famous last words.
No, it's fine. I'm about to break this game.
These are famous last words.
Yeah. Yeah, like what are these? Bunch of skeleton snakes? What's happening here?
They were, and then I just destroyed half of them in one shot.
Oh my god! I hope they absolutely come back to destroy you.
You always want me to lose. It's fine.
I just wanted you to be humble. I think all of us need to remain humble in the face of Skeleton Snake.
Okay, yeah. My one hint in this fight is make sure you read the little purple dudes at the top, because those are some of the scariest enemies in the game.
These pulsars?
Yeah, the pulsars.
Oh, this shield break starts an attack that generates +2 doom. I don't know what that means, but we'll find out.
Oh. I mean, +2 doom is bad, because if you get +2 doom right now, you lose.
I didn't know if the attack was going to take one extra turn or not.
That's one way to find out. I respect the learning by trial.
Yeah.
I have learned.
Trial by fire.
Trial by fire.
Yeah.
Marty wanted me to lose. I was just giving him what he wanted.
Thank you. Well, I wanted you to like put up a little more fight and then lose, like not just like, immediately lose.
Yeah, but did you see all the explosions?
It was cool. To be honest, it was very cool.
I don't care if I lose as long as it looks cool.
I mean, honestly, same.
Yeah. That's why I don't like playing Warzone on Call of Duty, because somebody will just fly a helicopter into me, and that's annoying.
From a different point of view, that looks cool. From their point of view, it's probably cool.
If you're not anywhere near me, yeah.
From these two characters, Nick, which one's playstyle do you think you're gravitating towards more?
I quite like the snow character. I didn't get very many of the snow cards, though.
Yeah, so each pilot has, what is it, 3 artifacts and like 5+ cards, right? And so they're not forming the majority of the card pool, but they're just gonna be like a little bit of extra flavor as you're playing with those characters.
The kind of way I went about to design the starter decks is that it was really important for me that every pilot in the game can make any build, and they're not just like better at a certain specific build, but they can still like be diverse and do anything they want. Like the other way to design this would be like, oh, we'd make a bomb character and we'd make a bullet character, and then the bomb character just starts with bombs and stuff and has really, really good bombs. But I kind of think that's like, it kills variety instead of enhancing it. Because then it's like, if you're not playing the bomb character, you're like, I don't really want to make a bomb build because it's like, it's not going to be the optimal bomb build. I should be the bomb character for that.
Yeah.
So so my philosophy for the pilots is that the pilots should add more possible builds to play with, but not be better at a specific build than anything else.
Yeah.
So for now, yeah.
No, kind of like going into what you were saying earlier about removing the numbers from the games. I do feel like, at least for me personally, when a game becomes math, it starts to kind of lose the flavor. It becomes something else. Whereas, like, if the game remains kind of like free jazz, where I'm like, well, let's just try this and roll with the punches and see what this is, then that's when I'm having the most fun in a game like this.
Yeah, try to like remove the friction from like getting into the flow of it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Jess in the chat earlier said, a nasty build growing was quite an inspired phrase choice. Those were also, I believe, your last words before you died.
They were.
Also great. And then Denise says, the second robot is great. A sword guy with lots of mobility.
Sword.
So the robots do feel very different to play, the 3 different robots.
I like to joke that it's as if we made 3 different games and put it into one. So it's like so if you've only seen this gameplay, you kind of have this vision of the rest of the game, but it's not really true. So the heat mechanic, that's only for this class. Each class has a different power system as well.
Okay.
Bullets, bombs, that's only this class as well. The other classes have completely different types of attacks in general and strategy. As they mentioned in the chat, the second character, Stinger, well, the second class Stinger is more of a melee character, and they get to like zip around the board in melee range, jabbing people, and they have a unique mechanic called throw and pick up. They can throw cards from their hand onto the grid, hitting an enemy, and it drops onto the grid as a pickup. And then when you move onto it, you get that card back into your hand.
Oh, that's cool.
So you have like these shuriken cards that you can throw, bam, hits, and then you go grab them and throw again, and you go grab them, throw. Quite a lot of different mechanics that play with that. They have like shock, batteries, as their like power mechanic. They shock entities on the grid. When you kill them, you get energy back. They're very like combo focused. Play a lot of cards during your turn. Yeah, pretty cool. So each class plays like completely differently.
Yeah, and then it gets the sub tweaks based on which pilot you have, right? Like each of those will then be a little tweak on that core idea.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it was a good, like when you were talking about the upgrades earlier, I think it's a good choice to not start with all of them because that could feel overwhelming. So let the players get acclimated with one before introducing them to the next and then the next.
Yeah.
I think people who are used to the roguelike deck builder formula will be pleasantly surprised by how much variety there is in our game, because it's hard to describe until you get into it and like see how the pilots affect the gameplay. And we also have this concept called packs, which as you play more, you're going to unlock a system where like every run you're going to start off with access to 3 out of, is it 10 or 11? 3 out of something packs that get added to your card pool, so it's like each run you have an extra level of variety. You have the mech to add variety, you have the pilot, and then you have these 3 random packs, and they combine together to like give each run a pretty unique identity.
Yeah.
It's
That's what you hope, right? Is that every run is unique, that you never feel like you're playing the same thing twice. Are these clouds also like a little bit of like fog of war at the top?
They block attacks.
Okay, but it's not like they obscure your vision of the thing. Like you don't know if something's in the cloud or not.
No.
You still know. There's not a lot of memory games in this game. Like trying to be very clear with the information.
Yeah.
I saw the word Titan and Rocket together, and I got excited.
That's a good card.
If you can use it well.
You and your planning. Like the guy that is not worried about the launch of his game at all, thinks real hard about everything he places.
That's what I figure. If you put in the thought at that level, you don't have to worry at that level.
Yeah, exactly.
Harder, not harder.
Yeah. Ironically, I play pretty fast now. I'm like.
You put a bit more time into the game than Nick has, though. If I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least I know what everything does.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things with like any roguelike is at some point you just internalize the information, and like a lot of what you might need to like intentionally, consciously process right now eventually just becomes background intuition. And that's like when you start getting to play a lot faster.
That's when you start seeing the code. Like Neo.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, Nick's playing pretty fast.
He is, yeah. But I don't know if that's because he's not reading or because he's internalized it already.
Well, I'm 6 of one, half a dozen of another. Yeah. It's a little column A, little column B.
The world will be better off not knowing.
Yeah. Were there any kind of big ideas that you guys had to scrap or leave on the cutting room floor? Whether it was, mechanical enemy ideas, character ideas, like, or I guess are there some of those you might go back to in the future? So maybe you don't want to say too much about them.
There's quite a few that, like, originally cut, but now we've added back in some way or form. Like I said, the third class was kind of like something that came out of an idea that we originally had. But the one thing I can think of is bosses. There's a few bosses that we cut. for various reasons, mostly too complex or just not fun to play with.
Yeah.
There's a black hole.
There's a few random enemies that we've cut as well.
It's a black hole.
black
That sounds
hole.
devastating.
It's like I was trying really hard to try to fit some type of, I call it conveyor belt mechanic. Like imagine if there's like a boss, but it's like on a conveyor belt and like it moves every time and something.
Yeah.
Like that just had like a cool visual flair to it. Like that didn't work. Then I tried to make like a wormhole type thing that everything around it spins around it every turn, but that also didn't work. So yeah, just random ideas like that.
Yeah, those are two of those ideas where immediately they sound cool on paper. I'm like, oh hell yeah, like I can kind of envision what that's like. But then I imagine when you get down to actually trying to implement it and making it fun and challenging, then it's like, okay, wait, how, like, what's the exact sauce that's needed for this?
Yeah, exactly. But the game has a lot of stuff. I wouldn't add anything other than what we have planned.
Well, yeah, and from what it sounds like, we've only kind of scratched the surface of especially with the 3 mechs. That, like, I can just envision that if that second mech is more like sword-based, melee-focused, zipping in and out of confrontations, that just immediately feels very different than the way this mech one plays.
Yeah, definitely.
So one thing you could do if you want to check that out on stream without actually going through the second difficulty, you can make another save profile from the main menu later and just unlock everything and test out the other classes. And
There
then
you
you
go.
can go back to your main profile, do your meta progression.
There you go.
I won't have time to do it on this stream, but I'm sure I will be falling asleep to this game every night for the next month.
That was in a good way, not in a bad way, right? Like, I'm
Yes.
playing the game and it's putting me to sleep. Okay, just want to make sure. Just wanted to double check.
Oh, did we leave? Oh, never mind. Just like freeze.
Oh,
There we go.
I think we should be back.
I'm gonna have to speed run this run because I gotta leave in like 5 minutes to take my mom to an appointment.
I believe in you, Nick. You can do this.
Power of very fast reading.
Yes.
Yeah.
Without reading at all.
Yeah.
One way
Comprehension is overrated. It's just how fast you can read.
One way to end a run really fast is to lose.
That is true, honestly.
No, I'll speed run
That's
this
the quickest
win.
way.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a really good upgrade.
Yeah. I read that. Purge it and I get a
Did
copy
you?
of it. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Little time to read.
Yeah.
It's like half a second. Just saw Titan Rocket upgraded, take it.
Yeah.
That was suboptimal Titan
It
Rocket.
was. I didn't expect them to all move.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna start calling a lot of things Nick does going forward suboptimal.
Don't
So
you
thank
dare.
for giving me that. That's
It's
incredibly
a
kind.
gentler way of saying really bad.
It is like, it feels like a constructive criticism way of like, hey, eventually you could be optimal.
Yeah.
This is-
Listen, it's always good to have goals in life.
Yeah.
One little trick with the cards that purge is that if you play them when overheating, you don't actually get any of the downside of overheating because they purge your deck so you don't get clogged with that burnt card.
Ooh,
So if you play that Titan Rocket as your last card each round, you basically get to play it for free.
sweet.
I love that.
I think I already purged it though.
So the upgrade you got is that it comes back
Oh, okay.
every time you play it. Yeah.
It's a lot of burnt cards.
Yeah. You did say to win fast was to lose fast.
Oh, you're doing great. You're doing good. There's just 2 spiders. You can get rid of 2 spiders. There's also several webs, but that's fine. Webs aren't that scary.
The webs are not scary. They just the spider's ability is basically it spawns a few webs every turn, but they like disappear. They're just there to block you basically.
Sure, yeah.
That
Start to
rocket
be
was
annoying.
completely unnecessary, but it felt good anyway.
It feels good. It feels good.
Keeper Dace over on Twitch says Nick was hired to lead, not read. Exactly. Who needs to read contracts?
Feels incredibly important. If I'm being honest, contract reading feels deeply
Might not be
important.
ever.
Yeah.
This might be the solution to ending the stream. This is a scary encounter.
Is this?
I gotta suboptimally place my missile and my bomb. Oh shit!
Yeah, that's a scary one.
I'm gonna be honest, Nick. That's a lot of twos.
Look, I already have a solution.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
What?
Yeah, I do.
What? Just X out of the game? Close the game?
Yeah, F4.
Yeah.
This one's doable too.
I keep forgetting you can
a
move.
chest
You can
puzzle.
move outside of their zone up here.
Oh, that doesn't matter. It's over.
Well, with that attitude, it's over.
Oh, I know what you. I know what you wanted me to do. Fuck! I just thought of it too. You wanted me to use that that thing that would give me 3 missile strikes.
Exactly.
I wanted to use, yeah, or optimally, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the word of the day. Fuck this.
For the day. Optimal.
Sorry to bully you for 2 hours. Marty's
That's okay. I'm used to it every day.
Literally every stream.
Yeah.
Literally every stream. So you guys fit in.
It's fine.
perfectly
When you guys come back, we will play Halo, and then I will bully you.
Nick has one game. He falls back on it. It's 2001's Halo Combat Evolved. Awesome. Yeah, Eddie Hansen, thank you guys so much for joining us. What should people know about StarVaders outside of it being out today and available on Steam right now?
As with any indie game, if you can just buy it, leave us a review. That's the best way to help. Tell some friends about it, and yeah, we genuinely hope you enjoy the game. We really tried to make it as good as possible.
Hell yeah, I love that. I tossed the links in here. It's as we mentioned earlier, it's on a launch sale for $22.50 US, and then like you mentioned, it's going to be as part of a package deal with stuff like Monster Train and then Monster Train 2 when that comes out.
Exactly. Yep. We got a bunch of other bundles with a lot of awesome other indie developers.
That's great. Yeah, and as a couple folks asked in the back half, we talked about it at the front, but it is the game is out now on Steam. TBD if it is ported to other platforms in the future. Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. No,
Hell yeah.
I love the game, guys. Really good job on this. Like, really fun. I'll be playing this on my Lenovo Legion Go / Steam Deck all the time.
Let us know if you when you beat the other difficulties. Or...
You will see me yell about it on Blue Sky, I'm sure.
Let us know if you ever graduate from being suboptimal.
Fuck. Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, thank you guys so much. Thank you everyone in the chat who stuck around. We'll be back in an hour for Yahtzee Tries with Yahtzee and Jamate. Casey and I will be back later tonight starting Metroid Dread, and then all the normal streams and videos and everything for the rest of the week. So yeah, Eddie Hansen, thank you guys again so much for joining us. Check out StarVaders out now on Steam. Nick, you did a great job. You're not suboptimal me. And we'll see y'all next time.
My very first run says win, so.
Yeah, that was